Richardson. I admire you so much. And the first impression that I got from you was at the Nail the Numbers boot camp that I took from you. Your knowledge and your confidence and your wisdom about money, how to make it, how to spend it, how to manage it. And at that point in my life, I was so far beyond wrapping my mind around ever feeling like that about money.
Well, you're so sweet, first of all. That boot camp feels like a lifetime ago.
You shared a little bit about your story and your evolution to that confidence. So can you tell us a little bit about what brought you to actually becoming so confident with money?
Pain is purpose, right? I think a lot of us have probably heard that before. Where we find the most pain in life is typically when we can walk through that and learn from it. That's where we have a lot of power in giving that back and finding that path of purpose for us. So that's really my story financially. I've struggled for a good chunk of my life with money, from, amassing $21,000 of credit card debt at 18. But really, for me, there was three main catalysts in my life that really got me to wake up and got me to understand how to master money. And I'm being mindful about not using the word manage money. But the first one was the bankruptcy in 2009. That's a big slap in the face. That was a really big wake up call. The second one was 2014, because after going through the bankruptcy, I really started to understand money management. I started to understand what you really need to live, because we were making it work on $2,300 and our rent was $1,800. So it was a huge wake up call in terms of, sometimes the more you make, the more you spend.
Right.
And it was just like, okay, here's what goes into money management. So after all of that pain of bankruptcy, I thought, never again am I ever going to get myself in that problem, in that spot. And then of course 2014 hits and I'm sitting at my kitchen island. And then this was my other big catalyst was, oh my gosh, I'm doing it again. I'm doing all of the things that led to the bankruptcy in the first place. This might resonate with some of you: not paying myself last, using my savings to make the business happen, not going after money that was owed, all of those same things. And then the third catalyst was actually my baby girl at the time, because when I realized, here I go again, I realized that these habits that I was engaged in, I was passing on to my daughter. And that's where I started to learn all about neuroscience. But then the third catalyst was, that wasn't all enough. Third catalyst was 2017, May 6th to be exact. I got the email from my now ex saying that he was leaving the relationship. So that was my third wake-up call, where I really understood motivation. And it's these three things: it's motivation, it's mindset, and it's management that comes together to master money. And so that's what I have been doing for the last 10 years now, is teaching people about how to master their money, both in life and in business, because it's those three different disciplines that need to converge for it to go and for it to happen.
So when you talk about sitting at your kitchen island and realizing, here I go again, I'm making those same mistakes, what made you realize, okay, this is a pattern? Like, what were the aha moments there?
Really, it was low self-worth. Was always looking externally for validation, for people to tell me I matter, that I'm worth it, that I'm brilliant, that I'm smart, whatever it is, right? So it happened in education, it happened in my relationships, it happened in every single job, it happened in my business. It was over and over and over again. And it shows up so many different ways: in the price that I charge, in the jobs that I accepted, where they said, well, we can't pay you what you're worth, but I would take it anyways.
Exactly, right?
I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it. And I would work my butt off. And I would always get told, you're brilliant at what you do. We just can't give you the money you're looking for. And I would stay, right? So it's, and I know I'm not alone in this.
When I went through your course, your money matrix, that was the number one aha for me. And that had been the thing I was struggling with my entire life and was causing all these repeated patterns, is like an unrequited search for self-worth, honestly. Yes. And for so many, not only women, but people, human beings in general, that self-worth gets eroded. And we, like you said, we look to it to find a solution externally for it.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
time. I would imagine that going through something like bankruptcy, that would be hard on your self-worth. How did you struggle with that? What was the hardest part of dealing with bankruptcy? Because I know, especially in today's world with COVID and everything that's going on, people are struggling with this more than ever.
Well, they're struggling with the thought of it. And I think so yes, when it hit me, it was 2009, right? So it was as a result of the economic turmoil of 2008. I felt like I was the only one going through it at the time. But there was a lot of shame around it. There was a lot of embarrassment around it. And there was a lot of guilt because I had let down people. And if one of my biggest issues was validation and trying to get external validation from others, that doesn't do it, right? Yeah. I had lost $250,000 of love money, friends and family. And I retreated. I didn't deal with it well, to be honest with you. Actually moved to a whole different province. So avoidance came in. Bankruptcy teaches you a lot. For me, a big piece of that was the money management and owning your mistakes and realizing that we make them all the time. But there's learning in everything. Yes, there's a lot of financial fragility out there right now, but anything is survivable. Even the bankruptcy, I got through it. It taught me a lot. And a lot of people are going through this right now. So there is no shame. There is no guilt. There is no blame.
Yeah.
What you do have to do, though, is you have to see that COVID didn't cause it, right? You were financially fragile to start. COVID just exposed it.
Exactly.
Or step up and you show up powerfully and you use this as an opportunity to learn so that never again, or it will happen again. You'll repeat this pattern. So,
exactly.
Most of the time, as we've talked about, I see a lot of people on the verge of bankruptcy, divorce, or a health scare. And that's what usually shakes us to our core to do the work that we need to do. So just, use it as a catalyst.
So when you understood that you were repeating these patterns and you had that aha moment about your self-worth, at what point did you feel like you were starting to actually take financial control, that you were seeing tangible results, gaining momentum in your habits and in your financial situation?
Well, I was very proud of myself. I felt immense pride. It was probably 2018. I think it was January or February of 2018. And as a result of doing the work that we do in the matrix, right, of understanding exactly how much needs to be created, I was consistently creating my $35,000 every month. And that for me is when I realized, this is the power of it.
Yes.
And I guess more importantly is that it wasn't so much about what it was that I was creating. It was the fact that I recognized that it was me creating it.
You recognized that you had the power.
It was me.
Yes.
It wasn't external. It was my power that was making that happen. So I could make anything happen. If I could make that happen, I could make anything happen. That's where it really turned around for me.
And that is what's so powerful about the Money Mastery program. It not only exposes the ways that you have been sabotaging yourself, but shows you the power that you can take back to actually change those habits. Tell me a little bit about magic number and what that means in the program.
Okay, so the magic number, that's money management, right? So 3 realms: money management, money mindset, money motive. Money management, we actually look under the carpet. We have to sweep everything out of there so we know exactly what we're dealing with. So we see our current situation, but more importantly, we recognize how much money we actually need to generate every month to make sure we are saving what we need to save, invest what we need to invest, spending. So we're not going on this big, debt diet. It's about spending needs, wants, splurges, and getting out of debt, and sharing money in the form of taxes and sharing money in the form of giving back. So when we actually do that math, the number inevitably 99.9% of the time is more than what you're earning right now. And most people are terrified to see what that number really is, because
Yes.
why you know this, why are people afraid to see the number?
Because they're afraid they can't make it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly it. It comes from scarcity, it comes from doubt, it comes from lack. So this
Lack
is
and
why we move
limitation.
into the second piece, which is the mindset, and why we've been blocking it. So you know, that's important, is recognizing that when we get into mindset, it's if 95% of our decisions are coming from our subconscious wants to keep us in a state it is familiar with, doesn't care about the magic number, right? So what's really important in mindset is that we simply need to be aware.
Okay, so the three realms: money management, second is money mindset.
Yeah.
And what I love and what I absolutely was obsessed with after your very first boot camp, the money type quiz.
In week 2, we actually start to explore our programming so we can see what's been blocking us.
Yes.
If we have a challenge with that, we can simply take the money type quiz, and then right away, boom, you know, high level, you see what archetype you are, right? Are you the magician? Are you the warrior? Are you the fool? Are you the innocent? And it's all Carl Jung. It's all his archetypes. He was the godfather of archetypes, to recognize that in our own brain, sometimes it's hard for us to see who we are and what we do. But when we've got this profile, it's like, I do that, I do that, I do that. But what I really want to stress here is that there is nothing to fix. We are not broken. We don't have to do better. We just have to do different. So when you take the money type quiz and you see those patterns, this is the thing with motive. And for many of us, it's because we're choosing to see the gap. We're choosing to think that something is broken, that we stay in it. So in motive, it's about getting into alignment with what it is that you are creating. Because when you can see it and when you can feel it, this is what actually retrains the subconscious so that it makes different decisions on your behalf.
Because that is really what is driving us most of the time, even though that we think that we're making choices intellectually with wisdom. A lot of times it's the subconscious that's driving the ship, right?
We don't get around that. There's no way that we can be in our prefrontal cortex the majority of the day. We'd be exhausted.
Yeah.
Having this conversation, trying to figure out what word to say next, you know, like there's no possible way. So we have to, what retrains the subconscious is actually choosing to feel differently about things.
Because I found that was something that was really revealed to me about my own patterns through taking your course, was my focus continuously on lack and limitation, and that there was never enough. I was never enough. I didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough time. There was never enough to go around. And it all boiled down to same thing: self-worth, self-love, that I wasn't enough.
When we start to listen to our language, we start to see that it's repeating in every area of our life. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough appreciation.
That's why I love this course so much, because it doesn't just focus on the numbers. It's not like, here you go, here's a spreadsheet, get your budget done, you're set. It goes to the root. It gets to the root of those issues. And once you treat the root, the benefits reach all the branches and leaves.
Well, yeah, you did the work. Absolutely. So when I hear people say, I'm not good with numbers, right? I have a hard time with them. I know that they're not good with themselves.
Yeah.
How we feel about numbers is really just a reflection of our relationship with self, our relationship with numbers, our relationship with self. It all comes from the same place. It is about getting uncomfortable, doing the things that are uncomfortable. When you do what's uncomfortable, that is what is showing you that you're reprogramming your subconscious.
Yes.
If you're sitting in comfort, you know that your subconscious is winning. That's the 95%. It's sitting in, if you're comfortable, that's your subconscious driving that action. And so, yeah, sometimes I'm very aware of that word familiar over comfort, because people are like, well, debt doesn't feel comfortable. Why am I in debt then? Because it's not comfortable. But it's
something about it is comfortable for them.
It's familiar. Yeah.
Yes.
So if debt feels burdensome, or maybe a lot of people, debt feels like pressure. And these are usually the same people that say, oh, I thrive under pressure. I thrive under deadlines.
Yes.
And debt, right?
Yeah.
So pressure feels familiar, which then leads me to believe that somehow when they were younger, they earned their care and their nurturing by being pressured for grades, pressured for awards, pressured for, right?
Yes.
Whatever that is, you've got a bar that you need to reach, and there's pressure to do that. And then when you get that, we'll show you acceptance and nurturing and whatever that is, right? Like it all ties together.
Definitely, I can relate to that because I was always in debt, but I always felt like I worked best under pressure. Yeah. But it wasn't working best. It was surviving. I survived under pressure.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's familiar. It's all we know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. But remember again too, like you've got to pat yourself on the back. You did the uncomfortable work.
Oh, it was uncomfortable.
Yes. And this is why you are sitting in such a different place now, Andrea.
Yeah.
Because you had the courage to get uncomfortable.
Yeah. How many people, do you have a tally on how many people you've actually helped through this program?
Well, I did this the other day and it was 547.
Wow. So does anybody stick out to you? Any of your favorite success stories?
It's really about relationships. And so there's this one story that just, it deeply resonates where, as a result of the work in week 2, she, on Money Mindset, she reached out to her father to just explore his perspective on being a father and what he felt he did right and what his relationship with money was and what he thought he was conveying to the kids and doing some of the things that he did. She did this without blame and judgment, and she just share with me your story. And so out of this, see, I still get emotional with this. Out of this, he just started to share, and he started to be very honest about it probably wasn't the right thing to do, but I was just doing the best I could with what I had. And we start to realize that as humans, that's really all any of us are doing. Yes. So what was so powerful about this is that they had this Christmas together where all of that garbage was gone. All of the walls and the anger and the resentment, it was all just gone, and they just respected and loved each other. And then he passed away in January, and I didn't hear from her until I think it was about 9 months after. And she just reached out to say that wouldn't have happened had you had not encouraged us to have the conversation. And that was the best gift that she had ever had in her life. So I'm getting all teary. So it's yes, money is great, but it's never about the money. It is never about the money.
That's what I saw in my own life, in the changes in my own life, is it wasn't about going back and laying blame anywhere or judgment, because that's the stuff that we have to release in order to get over these blocks. For me, I saw the most powerful change in just being able to acknowledge the things that I had internalized and the things that were causing these patterns and release them. And it has, same thing in my life, gave me not only a better understanding of my relationship with my parents and my siblings and even the other relationships I've had in my life, but it's allowed me to move past that and release blame and judgment on myself as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
It really is, because that's what I love about this program. It's not just about the money. The money is almost even an afterthought. What are the main things that people need to know before they commit to this program?
It is a commitment. So let me just use that word, commitment. And this is where I see a lot of adults kind of go sideways, is that don't honor the commitment for us. Don't show up for us. Honor the commitment to yourself. When you don't do what you say you are going to do for you, you start to erode your trust in yourself and your belief in yourself. Know that it is a commitment, right? A commitment of time, a commitment of money. And then know that as your subconscious starts to kick in, and usually it's at the end of week 2, after all the hard work is done, all the simplest piece of all of this is week 3. money motive. It is the feel good week. It's good vibes only. And this is where almost everybody's brain, their subconscious kicks in, and they tell themselves, oh, this is too easy. Oh, that I don't need that. This is usually where people are like, you know what? I got that part covered. That's your subconscious wanting to keep you in a state of, oh, it needs to be hard. Oh, there needs to be pressure. So commitment all the way through, start to finish.
Exactly. And that's what I want people to know about this program, is that it is worth it. It is so worth it.
Well, I'm so excited that you're involved, right? That you're here to support your skills and experience, and just, you know, your beautiful soul. And that's what people need through this process, right? A nice, beautiful, soft place to land where you've got people's back and you lift them up. And
October 16th is the cutoff date for this October 20th group. So this is a 3-week, 21 days, and you have a job every day. So you have to commit to show up powerfully for yourself.
Yes.
For those 21 days and forever after.
Yeah, you nailed it, Andrea. And it's not a 5-minute commitment every day, right? You're going to want to set aside at least half an hour to get that assignment done. And then we connect once a week to take your questions, have the discussions, really kind of flesh it out so that we can move forward powerfully into the next segment. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm so excited. So let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Anytime is a good time.
Absolutely right. Even in the midst of a global pandemic.
Probably the best time.
Yeah.